welcome back to On the Break. Yeah, I haven't said that in a long time. It's been a while
Hi.
since I've said that. Joel, back at it, the original duo of On
We're
the
all
Break.
back at it.
And we had to come back for a mock draft. Joel, how are you?
We had to, man.
How are you?
I'm doing good, It sucks that we haven't been able to record in a while. We're all in school right now. Some of us, got jobs now. It's like it's been a rough time scheduling,
Oh, yeah.
So it's good to be back.
Yeah, if you've kept up with me, I've been doing some stuff. I've been writing some stuff. We are going to launch the On the Break blog soon. That was something we were going to get going.
Yep.
So people can start writing some things, actually get some content out that isn't video, and get some stuff when we can't record. But that's going to end up happening soon. You will see that coming. But we have my favorite day of the year, the NFL mock draft. That there is nothing I enjoy more than the NFL draft. And that's why we had to come back for this because the storylines and everything, but I think we should just get straight into it. We are going to go up to the Miami Dolphins, all the teams that didn't make the playoffs. If we did a 1 through 32, this would be a 3-hour video. And nobody wants to watch that, right? Nobody at all wants to watch that. So we're going to get started. Keep it as short as we can. The number 1 pick in the NFL draft. This is the most riveting selection. We don't know who it's going to – Trevor Lawrence to the Jacksonville Jaguars. There's not much to say. Trevor Lawrence.
The easiest pick of this entire draft, let's be real.
Yeah. Anyway, real quick, I'm going to be doing the odd-numbered picks. Joel will be doing the even-numbered picks. We did that for the NBA draft before. Go watch that if you find it. But Trevor Lawrence, he's the best quarterback in the draft. Not even close. I don't think the gap is close between him and, the other quarterbacks that we're going to have get picked in this first, 18 picks. But, he's the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, rest in retirement for him. But this is the best quarterback prospect I've seen in my life. He's going to the Jacksonville Jaguars where he might get ruined. They find a way to do that. I don't think he'll be in Jacksonville his entire career. I don't. They don't like re-signing players for some reason, so maybe he'll end up somewhere else. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe he can save the franchise. Do you have any thoughts on this? I think I made a good pick here.
Let's be real. It's a great move for the Jaguars. It's the only move you can make. If it wasn't for them having the first overall pick, Urban Meyer would never have gone there. Let's be real. So, a lot of Trevor Lawrence is going to bring, such a fan base to Jacksonville. He's already donating to their charities. Come on, it's already set in stone.
He hasn't even signed a contract, and the fans are giving him money for charities. He's already in the community. He probably already has 2 houses there.
He's practically a Jaguar already. He already knows it. Come on.
Yeah, he's a Jaguar. There's not much else to it.
With the second pick in the draft, the New York Jets, who, if it wasn't for them winning that game against the Rams, it'd be them getting Trevor Lawrence. But,
And they beat Cleveland.
Yeah, and they beat Cleveland. You're right. And
they would have Trevor Lawrence right now if they, knew how to tank.
But with the second pick, you're probably going to get the second best quarterback in this draft, which would be Zach Wilson from BYU. This is a very easy pick. I have explained to you, and some of you might remember, I don't really watch college football, but just one time I did happen to watch a BYU game, and I saw Zach Wilson playing, and I thought that this kid was lights out. I'm like, my God, this guy's – but I didn't realize that this guy was going to be the second, best quarterback in this. I didn't realize that. I was just like, wow, these guys are insanely good. And, it's funny how this all circles around. So,
it worked out.
Now he's going to be the second overall pick in this draft. Should be. Come on. It's the Jets, so you never know.
Penny Sewell. I wouldn't hate that pick either, but it should be Zach Wilson. I think it's going
to be Zach Wilson. It's fair to say. So,
yeah.
Same as Trevor Lawrence. I don't think there's anything much to say about this pick. It's an easy pick if you're the Jets.
Yeah, it's very easy. Zach Wilson, BYU, coming out of BYU, independent school. You don't play a lot of great teams, but you do play Coastal Carolina. They did. And he had a great game against them. And every team that he played, BYU steamrolled. And a lot of it had to do with his quarterback ability. Now, The
Right.
Jets, this is official. Moving on from Sam Darnold, the newest Carolina Panther. That's always interesting. We'll get to their picks soon enough. But the third pick in the NFL draft, the 49ers trading up with the Miami Dolphins, who traded with the Houston Texans. The Laramie Tunsil domino effect coming here. Now, this is probably the most interesting pick in the NFL draft, like I just said.
Yeah.
I mean, you gave up, it was what, like 3 first-round picks?
They gave up 3 first,
a lot.
yeah.
They gave up a lot. And if you're going to sit here and tell me that this team is not picking a quarterback, you are out of your mind. There is not any receiver ever that I would give up 3 first-round picks for, unless if your name is Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, or Jerry Rice, and that's about it. So I don't care what prospect you are. This is a quarterback, okay? And also, if you're going to sit here and tell me that the 49ers are going to take Mac Jones, I would say you're out of your mind. Now, you have a lot of mock drafts saying that the 49ers have interest in taking Mac Jones at 3.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
No, there's no chance. They're not taking Mac Jones. Okay,
I don't know.
I mean, it is the 49ers. They gave Jimmy Garoppolo he robbed the city of San Francisco. He took them to a Super Bowl, signed a contract, and that was about it. He stinks. He's awful. As of now, maybe he can come back on another team, but I don't think anybody's taking the chance on the injury-prone Jimmy Garoppolo. But Justin Fields, I'm going to pick the safe pick, although I would not be surprised if I hear quarterback out of Alabama, Mac Jones, as a selection. But Justin Fields is going to be the pick here. It could be Trey Lance, but I'm going to say that it is Justin Fields. Ohio State came from Georgia, transferred in because, he couldn't beat out Jake Fromm. A lot of that is circling around. But you got to remember, Kyler Murray was a backup at Texas A&M. He didn't play that much at Texas A&M. He was the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I think in a lot of drafts, Justin Fields is the number 1 pick in the draft. He's that good. That's how good this quarterback class is. Even Trey Lance, who, was freshman, whatever, the North Dakota State Bisons are strong. He'll get picked eventually in this video, Trey Lance. I know he will. He'll probably get picked a lot sooner than I think. But Justin Fields is a tough leader for a San Francisco team that has battled injuries, has a great defense. And, I think in the 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, they'll pick up some weapons. They'll find some weapons for Justin Fields. But at the end of the day, it's a quarterback. And we know that, Joel, right?
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a quarterback. Okay. This is not who I would pick if I was the 49ers. Okay. But to me, in like my personal mock draft, I have them taking Mac Jones. I do have them taking Mac Jones. Because
it's tough.
It is tough because you look at this and like, okay, Justin Fields or Trey Lance. And then you hear these rumors that they really like Mac Jones. And you're thinking to yourself, what is your problem? However, I started thinking about this and I realized, okay, they have Jimmy Garoppolo, who is an average to below average quarterback. Then when they were talking about replacing Garoppolo, there was rumors of them trading for Kirk Cousins, who then again, he's an average quarterback. He's not you wouldn't call him above average. He's not exactly a big time kind of guy.
The same
but he's
play
average.
style.
He's the same play style. And Mac
drop
Jones,
back in the pocket, play action quarterback.
Yeah, Mac Jones is just like those two. So when you look at Justin Fields and Trey Lance, those guys are probably going to go to a team that legit have nothing. They legit have nothing. That's what I think they're going to go to. And when it comes to a guy like Mac Jones, Kyle Shanahan's not going to be asking for much. He says, listen, I just need you to drop back in the pocket, do what you got to do. I understand the mobility is a problem. I'm not asking you to run around. I'm not asking you to, do, these crazy play action passes. You got to, jump up and, one arm it, like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
No looks. You don't have to do any crazy stuff like that because San Francisco got weapons. They got a great defense. They don't need a amazing quarterback, win now quarterback. They just need someone that is going to do what they tell them to do. Mac Jones is going to be that. So, like I said, personally, I would not take the chance on Mac Jones. But when it comes to who I think the 49ers are going to pick, it would be Mac Jones. But I understand Justin Fields. I totally get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think, Justin Fields can be that guy that drops back in the pocket. And
Yeah.
he's been a lot of that in his career. He can move around a little bit, but he's a bigger quarterback. I mean, that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
But, obviously Mac Jones is more of that mold. But again, he only really played one season, Mac Jones. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously second in the Heisman voting. His receiver won it. But I think Justin Fields just has enough of that leadership and that sample size for the 49ers, and they'll end up taking the experience. But I would not be surprised, again, to see Mac Jones' name called on draft night. Joel, you have the 4th pick. The Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock.
So with the Atlanta Falcons here, I've been looking around the internet trying to find, some sources, stuff like that, to see what they're trying to do. It seems to me that the coach wants Kyle Pitts. The GM wants a quarterback. So here's the thing with Atlanta. I'm saying to myself, as the head coach here, or even the GM here, when is the Falcons ever going to be in the top 5 again? When are they ever going to be in the top 5 again? Listen,
maybe next year.
You've explained it to me. There are quarterbacks in every draft. Every draft, there's going to be some guy that everyone's going to, this guy's a franchise quarterback, stuff like that. So I say to myself, you're out of your mind if you do not pick Kyle Pitts here. If you don't pick Kyle Pitts, this guy is going to be once in a lifetime generational talent because of how well this guy. I mean, he's a wide receiver that plays tight end. Let's be real for a minute.
He's just. It's
he's
like
insane.
He's like a fat Calvin Johnson, if you want to go that route. I mean, he has the just Kellen Winslow likability. The fact that is his floor, that a Hall of Fame player is probably his floor at this point.
Mm-hmm.
His ability is just, you can't even put it into words. You just have to see it on the field and in the film. He's probably the most athletic player in the draft, and he's like 6'6".
Yeah.
So
he's probably the best overall player in this draft. If you can make that argument.
I would make that argument. With that. I don't think there's anybody that can match Kyle Pitts right now. So Kyle Pitts is definitely the pick here. Is that who you think they should pick? Is that what we're going here?
Oh yeah. I'm going with Kyle Pitts here. Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida. His quarterback didn't play too well against Oklahoma, but he definitely showed out all season. And really, he was the best player in college football. I thought it was going to be Jalen Waddle until he broke his leg. And then Kyle Pitts showed up and lit the entire world on fire. And that's what he does. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, I will be picking for them. I think this is actually the safest pick in the draft. I really do. I don't think there's any other option besides Penny Sewell here. I don't. If you take Jamar Chase, if you take a wide receiver, your number 1 overall pick quarterback just tore his ACL. We know what happened with Joe Burrow. I mean, you saw the jersey pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the ACL scar. This is his 2nd year in the NFL, and he just tore his ACL. You have to protect this quarterback. He's been getting hit all season. And I know that team better know it, because I saw a graphic. It was just a quick stick figure drawing, and it was if you draft Penny Sewell, Joe Burrow throws it to literally anybody. If you don't draft Penny Sewell, but you draft Jamar Chase, he can't even throw the ball because he's getting rushed and he's getting sacked. But this is Penny Sewell, tackle out of Oregon. You have to protect your quarterback, especially when you draft him 1st overall. And this is your future of your team, and you give up on Andy Dalton to pick a younger quarterback out of LSU. You take Penny Sewell. I mean, he's the most talented tackle in this draft. You may say Rashaan Slater, but the safest pick here, Penny Sewell at number 5. It's what you do. I think it's just common sense to pick a tackle here.
It is the safest pick in this draft, and if you do have any common sense, you would take Penei Sewell. I don't think the Bengals have common sense.
It's fair.
I do not think they have common sense.
For a decade. They haven't had it for the past 5 decades.
So what, again, kind of like with the Falcons, what I'm hearing is that, I think there was a report about it not too long ago. Joe Burrow wants the Bengals to draft Jamar Chase, his buddy from LSU. He wants them to draft Jamar Chase. Now, if you're the Bengals, you're kind of looking at Joe Burrow saying, listen, we want to keep you happy, but are you out of your mind? You know what I mean? So listen, I looked at this and I said, this is a pretty steep, tackle offensive lineman draft. Maybe you can get a tackle in the 2nd round. Would you take that risk? I wouldn't. I think the Bengals are. So in my mock draft, I do have them taking Jamar Chase. like I said, would I do it? I don't know.
No.
I don't know if I would do it because
If you
but
thought
would the
about
Bengals
it,
do it?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't. So I do think the Bengals are going to end up taking Jamar Chase here, but if they could trade up to the back into the first round and take a tackle, yeah, hell, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's so easy to just hope and pray that a tackle, drops to them in the second round.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I understand they did sign Riley Reef, who for a lot of Bengals fans were actually excited the fact that they signed Riley Reef. I mean, I thought he was okay when he was in Minnesota. He wasn't great necessarily, but
he's not the solution to all their problems. You need to solidify that offensive line with another tackle.
No, he's not.
That's just how it is.
Penei Sewell is probably the best tackle in this draft. Rashaan Slater, he's a right tackle that can play guard. So I would understand if you wanted to go that route as well. But knowing that it's the Bengals here, I would have them taking Jamar Chase.
Yeah. So for the purposes of our draft, since I have the selection, Penei Sewell will be taken, and that's what we have
will
left.
Be taken.
Right. But I wouldn't be surprised, again, if Jamar Chase is taken. I mean, obviously, you want to keep your quarterback happy, and if your quarterback wants his buddy, that's fair. But, again, this is an opportunity that you can't really pass up. But it's tough. It's tough.
But I will tell you right now, if the Bengals end up taking Jamar Chase, nobody's going to be mad at Joe Burrow. They're going to be mad at the Bengals.
Exactly.
Because the Bengals have the final say here. They have the final say, regardless of what your quarterback says.
Right. But Joe Burrow, here's the thing. He hasn't played well enough to be able to say, I want this player.
Yeah,
he's not a superstar quarterback yet. He's a second-year player. He's not that right now. But that's my thought. I don't think Joe Burrow should have as much of a say.
Yeah.
Number 6.
So with the 6th pick, the Miami Dolphins. I think this is another one, the easiest pick you can make if you're the Dolphins at 6. Now, there are rumors of them trading back. I don't know why, but
I can see
for all purposes of them, keeping this pick, we can't predict trades here.
Right. It's way too complicated.
I would have them taking Jamar Chase. I think he's arguably the most NFL ready wide receiver in this draft. I think he could go into Miami, and honestly, he might end up, probably not instantly, but over time, he might end up being the wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Because of how dynamic this guy is. I mean, I remember watching LSU games, 2 years ago when he was playing, obviously COVID, he sat out. But this man, I kid you not, he looked just so NFL ready. He just looked like, other wide receivers in the NFL. He was making NFL like catches, like he was running routes that you see guys like Calvin Ridley or Julio Jones doing almost all the time, or Keenan Allen even. Like, I mean, come on. I think this is the safest pick you got if you're the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, he's up there. Jamar Chase, if he played this season, I think he would be the guaranteed wide receiver 1 of this draft. I don't think it would be close, even if Davonte Smith ended up winning the Heisman still. LSU didn't have the best season, so maybe it would have lowered him, but Jamar Chase, in terms of talent, he's right there. He is absolutely right there. I love Jamar Chase. I love that pick for the Dolphins. And Tua, or whoever is the quarterback, is getting a great weapon no matter who they pick, because, I have the next pick. It is the Detroit Lions. They're also taking a receiver on my board. This is going to be a back-to-back.
They have to.
It's their biggest need. They lost Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones. This is a completely new team. Jared Goff. I mean, this is probably going to be one of the worst teams in football, I would say, no matter who they pick here. But, I can't really think of much worse than the Detroit Lions. But it starts with the draft getting better and getting younger and all that. Jared Goff is not going to be the quarterback for very long, but he is right now. And he needs a weapon, and he needs a Heisman. He needs a Heisman-winning wide receiver. Now, you will say Davonte Smith, undersized in terms of weight. Obviously that's a concern with a lot of people. It's not a concern with me. You know why it's not a concern with me? Did you see what he did in that national championship game? Did anybody out there saw what he did in that national championship game?
I watched that game.
Or even before that, the SEC championship. Day in, day out, every Saturday, Davonte Smith was the best player on the field. Every game he played in. Okay? He is that good of a player at that weight. He knows how to use his weight. He knows how to use his size and he's a great route runner. Now, you will say, oh, but corners are physical in the NFL, and yeah, I understand that. I'm not saying he's going to translate to Heisman immediately when he gets onto that field, but with some training, with NFL training, now maybe you'll say, but the Detroit Lions aren't the best at that. You're right. But they had Calvin Johnson, and he did pretty well. It's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson is massive, I will say. I think that's fair. But Davonte Smith, I love Davonte Smith. I think he's going to be one of the best receivers in the league in the next few years, even whether he's 220 pounds or 175. He's going to be that good. I think it's Davonte Smith here for the Detroit Lions. Nice weapon for Jared Goff.
I like this pick a lot. I like this pick a lot for the Lions, especially because, yeah, you did manage to lose Kenny Galladay. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go. I have their pick. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Oh my God. I don't even know what they're gonna do. But besides the point, you lose Marvin Jones to Jacksonville. Your best wide receiver left. I believe they signed Tyrell Williams from the Raiders, who was such an injury-prone wide receiver.
Yeah. He might not see the field.
I've seen lots of people say, like, oh my God, the Lions, they need a tackle, they need a corner. If they do not pick a wide receiver here with those 3 wide receivers on the board here, well, 2 now, but you're insane if you do not pick a wide receiver here. I would argue that they would take Jalen Waddle only because I think it's a better fit for them. But either or, just take either or. I really don't care at that point. Davonte Smith or Jalen Waddle doesn't matter to me. So Davonte Smith, he has a whole lot of potential, and you saw Jared Goff with the Rams. He threw a lot of deep balls. That was his guy, and Davonte Smith is that guy. So I don't think the Lions as a whole is going to be a great team next year.
No, but they'll be picking number 1 next year. That's what I'll say.
Most likely. But if you're Detroit, you have to go with the wide receiver here. And if Davonte Smith's your guy, you take him. Yeah. It's an easy pick.
He's your guy. He is your guy. Who was your guy for the Carolina Panthers?
So with the Panthers, I was looking at, Trey Lance is still on the board. However, the argument I'm making is there is no way you would make a trade like, for Sam Darnold. You would trade a 2nd-round pick next year. You trade, I believe it was like a 4th and a 5th. It was something like to that nature. I don't remember.
They gave up a solid package.
They gave us exactly. They gave us a solid package.
Yeah.
So the whole story here is that the Carolina Panthers look good now because they're giving Sam Darnold a chance. They're giving him a chance, just like they did Teddy Bridgewater. They're giving him a chance. So with Sam Darnold here, I don't think you're taking a quarterback. I think you're saying to yourself, let's now protect Sam Darnold. Let's do what the Jets couldn't. Let's get ourselves probably, arguably the most talented tackle in this draft. It waivers. Let's get Rashaan Slater here. Yep. Rashaan Slater, from Northwestern, this guy could play any position when it comes to the tackle, when it comes to the offensive line. If he wanted to play center, I think he could play center. If he wanted to play guard, he could play guard. If he wants to play tackle, he could play a tackle. Like, whatever you need, Rashaan Slater is that guy to protect Sam Darnold. And now he's back with his buddy Robbie Anderson. You got DJ Moore. You got, Christian McCaffrey. Rashaan Slater is the safest pick if you're the Panthers. Offensive line is one of the main needs that you guys have needed for a while now. So protecting Sam Darnold is going to be one of your primary needs. And hell, if he's not good, then you just forget about him, honestly. Yep. So, that's the pick. Rashaan Slater is the safest pick here.
Yeah, obviously you get a tackle, you protect your new quarterback and Sam Darnold, or you have Teddy Bridgewater. But obviously, like you said, you mentioned that there is a quarterback every year. Okay, at least 2 or 3 that have potential that you can develop into a good player, and you don't need to take Trey Lance. Obviously, again, you just got Sam Darnold. Give him a shot. That's what you got to do. You didn't give up that capital to pick him. So I agree. Now, I think this is the part of the draft where you get really complicated and things can go any way. And there's also not a lot of wrong answers, I will say. The Denver Broncos. Now, here's the thing. In my head, I had the Denver Broncos taking Rashaan Slater. I thought that was probably the more the better pick for them. But obviously, if he doesn't fall to them, it opens up Pandora's box of what they can do. And, obviously you want to mention Jalen Waddle still on the board, Micah Parsons, even Trey Lance is still on the board. I don't think they're taking any of those three. Remember what we said about Drew Lock in the beginning of On the Break podcast itself. We said that this guy can hit another level and he could be one of the best quarterbacks in that draft, right?
We were wrong.
We were wrong, but are we wrong yet? I don't know if I'm ready to give up on Drew Lock, I will say.
Oy.
I mean, that team was riddled with injuries last season. They were not able to hit.
They were.
Von Miller was gone for a lot of the season. So, is this the year to hit the panic button and just give up on Drew Lock? Is this the year? Now, do I think what do I think they will do? If Trey Lance is here, Mac Jones is here. I don't think they take.
He is on the board.
I don't think they would take Mac if he's here. Trey Lance is here. Now, here's the thing. If you pick Mac Jones the third, Justin Fields might be here, if anything. So that's also a possibility. Yeah. What do I think the Broncos will do if this is a scenario? I guess you have to go with Trey Lance, right? At this point, looking at the rest of the board, there isn't much left that's really an obvious pick. They don't really need Micah Parsons. I mean, I guess they might need Micah Parsons, but I could, there's issues there that are going to lead him to fall in this draft and maybe, to a spot where he shouldn't be. But, will he get into the first round? I think he will. Trey Lance is probably going to be the pick here, although I would take Micah Parsons if I'm Denver. I'm going to go with Trey Lance because we know the talent Trey Lance has. If Joe was on here, he would have picked Trey Lance number 1 overall probably. I mean, he loves him. We talked about it all the time back then. I'm sure he would love to talk about that. But, I mean, Trey Lance, a very talented quarterback. He has the natural ability of a quarterback. He does need more experience. So, I don't know if you want to call it sitting behind Drew Lock, if you want to call it that. He's still a young quarterback. But, in reality, I think the Broncos actually trade down from this spot if they are in this scenario. I mean, they can still get a guy that they like and get some draft capital if they trade back a little bit. So this could either be a reach pick, Trey Lance, or trade. We're going to go with Trey Lance here to keep it simple for this mock draft because, I do love Trey Lance. I think this is a deep quarterback class from 1 to 5. So,
yeah,
this is good. I think Trey Lance is going to be the pick. The new Denver Broncos quarterback, Trey Lance out of North Dakota State.
I do agree with this pick because I did hear a report like this was a while ago. But I did hear that the Denver Broncos were looking to bring in quarterback competition for Drew Lock. Now, free agency, they didn't sign any quarterbacks.
No.
They didn't sign any quarterbacks, so that just leads me to believe that they're going to end up drafting one. So, listen, Drew Lock, I believe he had like 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, something like that. He wasn't the greatest. He wasn't the greatest. I mean, then again, you could make the argument he didn't have a lot of weapons. He didn't have the best weapons because a lot of them were hurt. And then they had that whole game against the Saints where no quarterbacks could play. It was a mess.
It was a weird season. It was
a mess in Denver, but yeah, I believe that the Broncos are going to end up moving on from Drew Lock and get a guy like Trey Lance, who, I mean, to be honest with you, I think they're gonna end up having Drew Lock starting, but I feel like he's going to be like a Tyrod Taylor type of situation with the Chargers. Yeah. Like once he gets hurt or something, he starts messing up, they're going to bring in Trey Lance, and then he's going to be the starter for the remainder of the year when he, becomes amazing or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I think Drew Lock also has potential to start somewhere else, if anything.
I think he can.
Yeah. Let's say the Saints don't like Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill. I mean, if Drew Lock becomes available, that could be a move that they make.
You never know. But
Tampa Bay, if Tom Brady retires this season, I mean, anything can happen for Drew.
With the 10th pick, the Cowgirls.
All right. Cowboys. Mike would pick nobody here.
Mike would pick nobody.
Mike would go down to the bottom of the PFF draft and pick the last person available. That's what he would do.
They need a corner. Mike would pick Greg Newsome, but with this pick. But now with the 10th pick, I like I said, I do believe that the Cowboys, they need corners like bad. Their secondary was horrible last year. They relied on Trayvon Trayvon Diggs. Was that his name?
Yeah, Trayvon Diggs, a rookie.
I get confused with Trayvon Moehrig with the safety. That's why I get confused.
Yeah.
But
same name basically.
But yeah. But the secondary was horrible last year. And I think that they need a dynamic corner. And I've been seeing in a lot of mock drafts, I've been seeing in a lot of reports here, J.C. Horn is flying up boards. Yeah. He is flying. For about 2 months now, I've been having the Cowboys take Patrick Surtain. Now I'm thinking to myself, they might end up picking J.C. Horn, and I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to end up picking J.C. Horn. I mean, I was looking at a few of his tapes, from a few of his games, and I mean, yeah, I saw this guy. I saw him breaking up passes. I saw him picking stuff up. I mean, this guy looked NFL ready. This man looked like no receiver can outroute him. This guy was insane. And I'm not exactly sure what happened to the fact that his stock started going way higher than Patrick Surtain was. But I mean, yeah, I saw this guy, and I think, just looking at him, I feel like he looks like a Cowboy. I feel like he looks like a guy that Jerry Jones would love, So I do think they're going to end up, they have to pick a corner. It's going to be Surtain or Horn. I think they're going to win Horn here.
Yeah, I think that also shakes up a bit of the draft because now, Surtain can go down to anywhere, maybe some, Los Angeles Chargers, maybe. We'll get to that eventually. But I like the pick. I like J.C. Horn a lot. I know, a lot of people maybe don't watch a lot of his stuff because he doesn't play for Alabama. There's a lot of Alabama in this draft, but
oh yeah, you watch Alabama.
Oh, everyone watches Alabama. I mean, they're always on television, but South Carolina doesn't get as much love. So maybe that's why he's a little lower on this draft, but he's developed into a really great player, and he's going to be a really great NFL talent. Once maybe Dallas selects him or maybe he falls to somewhere else, but I do like the idea of him being a Dallas Cowboy. I think they're picking a corner no matter what they do, or maybe even a safety in Moehrig, but I do like this pick. J.C. Horn is the guy. Now for the New York Giants. Get the hat over here. The New York Giants are on the clock.
I have no clue who they're going to pick. I'm telling you that right now.
Especially with what we've done so far in this draft, which hasn't been, nothing too insane has happened, but I actually think that this pick is pretty simple. I'm not going to lie. I really do. You guys, the Giants, lost somebody pretty big. You lost Dalvin Tomlinson to the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. Now, let's look at who's on the board. Jalen Waddle, you just got Kenny Golladay. Micah Parsons. You don't really need a linebacker. You don't really need you need a tackle. But at this point, are you going to reach for Christian Darrisaw? Is that what's going to happen? Are you going to reach for, Vera Tucker? Are you going to pick a receiver? No. Are you going to pick a corner? No. I think it's Christian Barmore here out of Alabama. We just talked about Alabama. I don't know. You don't like that pick, I can tell. But you need but you need the interior defensive line. I think that's what the Giants are going to end up doing. I think the Giants are going to say, hey, we're going to replace an Alabama defensive tackle with an Alabama defensive tackle, and that's going to be your pick. I don't. Here's the thing. This is another.
I'm not mad at you here.
I know.
I'm not mad at you.
The Giants.
It's just.
This is what they're going to do.
I know they're going to pick him. That's the thing. I know they're going to pick him.
Here's the thing. I think this is another trade down scenario because you can get.
They have to. They have to. Oh my God, they have to. Please.
You could probably get a guy like Barmore or another defensive lineman later in this draft, but if the Giants stay at that pick and they can't find anything, I think you know who the pick is going to be. I think it's going to be Christian Barmore because there's not really much else that they can pick. Maybe they pick, Christian Darrisaw. Those were the two that I was between. I was between Darrisaw and Barmore for who the Giants are probably going to pick. But I think that they believe in their younger offensive line. I think they believe in it to not take a first-round tackle again. So I think they're going to go with a bit of a safe pick and pick Barmore because they couldn't re-sign Tomlinson because of obviously Kenny Golladay. So Barmore is the pick here. Tell me why you hate it.
Okay. I like Christian Barmore. Okay. I like him. I'm not a fan of picking a guy that can easily go in the late 20s, mid 20s, 11th overall. That's what I'm mad about.
It's fair.
That's what I don't like because it's Daniel Jones all over again, man. Oh my god, like
He is not worked out. Let's be honest.
Oh my. So like, I mean, Dave Gettleman, he reaches, man. He reaches for picks, and it's like, I don't understand. You have to trade down if you're the Giants. You have to.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I've seen a lot of Giants fans want Jalen Waddle. I don't understand why, because we just signed Kenny Galladay. We have Sterling Shepard, who I still like. We have Darius Slayton, who I like. And it's like, do you want Jalen Waddle just so he could be like the wide receiver 4? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand why you would want him. And we just signed John Ross. Like, I don't get it at all. No. Like, I don't understand picking a receiver here. So I have seen for the Giants, because, you know, I'm a Giants fan. I try to see what they're liking.
Of course.
In this draft, they're looking at mainly 2 positions, wide receiver and edge rushers, or just pass rushers, really. So Christian Barmore, I do understand why they would want, you know, like I said, Dalvin Thompson, we lost him. I liked him a lot. I had them going with Jalen Phillips here.
Okay.
If they do keep this pick, just because I feel like you can move Dexter Lawrence to defensive tackle, because right now I think they have him playing left edge, and move Jalen Phillips to edge. But you have to trade down if you're the Giants.
Yeah, man. I also don't think Jalen Phillips is going to go much, you know, like if you don't pick him, I think he's not going to get picked for a while either. So you have to trade down. So it's the guys that you want are later in the draft.
Exactly. So I don't see a reason for them to keep this pick and say to ourselves, all right, well, we have to take, you know, our need. Let's take Christian Barmore at 11. You know, the Raiders, they took Cleveland Farrell 4th overall. He was going to be a late first-round pick. They took them 4th overall. You see how that worked out for them. That's why I don't heard his
name since.
I don't want to do this pick, man. I don't want to do this early. I feel like you have to trade down. And listen, I understand our rivals, the Eagles, are next, and Mike is going to have, you know, the greatest time ever seen Jalen Waddle still on this board. But I'm telling you, if I'm the Giants, man, I'm telling you, I would not take a wide receiver, and I wouldn't take anyone on this board that we need, because I know they're going to be available at 20, you know, around there. You know what I mean?
At least
they're going to be available. At least one. So it's like
trade with Miami. They have a later pick. I mean, something. Get your assets.
You gotta do something, man.
Do something. Now, here's the thing. You just said it. You have the Eagles. If you don't pick a certain guy that, you know, I think we all know who the pick is, but let's go.
Jalen Waddle.
Yay! Good job.
Jalen.
It has to be.
You can see how enthusiastic I am with this.
Oh man, I'm really shocked at that one. Wow.
We gotta face Jalen Waddle twice a year, man. I'll be so mad.
Gotta face Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper. Twice. That's 4 games right there.
I'll be so upset, man. But yeah, I mean, listen, if you're Philadelphia, a wide receiver is the biggest need out of all the needs you guys have. Jalen Reagor, who I actually thought wasn't that bad of a receiver. I thought he was fine. Is that he was the only receiver. Like, I mean, Travis Fulgham had like a 5-game streak that, like, you know, a lot of people were saying that he was like amazing for the Eagles, but like after that, he was getting like, a catch a game, like 2 catches a game, and then he was just
he's not a long-term
average. Yeah, he's not long-term. So you have to take a wide receiver if you're Philadelphia. As far as, you know, I don't like them doing this pick. It's the best move. It's the best move for the Eagles to do. So I feel like you're going to have to pick a wide receiver. And Jalen Waddle on our boards, he's still here. I mean, let's be real. I'm sure there's going to be some trades where, like, you know, someone takes Jalen Waddle way before this even happens. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like if you're the Eagles here and Jalen Waddle's still on the board and you don't pick him, I mean, you thought the Jalen Hurts pick was bad. My God, if they don't pick Jalen Waddle, that'd be hilarious to me.
Well, now Jalen Hurts is the quarterback of the Eagles, and, you know, he played for Alabama for a long time. And might be. Who knows? They could trade up for Trey Lance. I don't know. The Eagles are the most confusing team in all of football, and that's just
what
confusing,
it is. Man.
This could be Micah Parsons, and everybody will throw a fit about it, but I wouldn't hate the Micah Parsons pick if that's the pick. I think it's either that or Waddle if they don't trade or do anything fancy. That's what I got.
I do think Micah Parsons is going to drop a bit. I mean, I don't know if you're going to take him next, but like
No.
Look, I do think that the need for a linebacker in this draft is not exactly a huge need for a lot of these teams. So listen, I like Micah Parsons. I think he's a good player. From Penn State, he was a beast. But looking at the teams left on the board, not a lot of them need linebackers. So
No.
he should go around top 10 or 11, 12 around that area. But he's probably going to drop a bit. I do think he will.
And it really has to do with the character issues that came out a while ago before the draft,
That too.
unfortunately. And, I mean, it also does have to do with teams not really needing a linebacker, but teams are going to be hesitant. If you remember Tyrann Mathieu when he got drafted really late because of other issues off the field. And obviously we know how he turned out. He's one of the best, he's arguably the best safety in the NFL, even if you want to go with defensive
Probably.
backs. So, sometimes this pick works out, and I think with Micah Parsons it will. But after saying all that, the Chargers are now on the clock, and I am not picking Micah Parsons. So there's that. They don't really need a linebacker as well. They just picked Kenneth Murray out of good old Oklahoma. So, hopefully he changes his number to 9 so we can be K9 again. I love that nickname.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it needs
the
to
number
come back.
change.
Yeah, the number change. That's also another fun thing. But Kenneth Murray at Oklahoma, he wore number 9. His nickname was K9. I think that's just – it would be the coolest name in the NFL. Besides the point, now I someone is probably thinking out there, you just said Patrick Surtain for the Chargers after, he took J.C. Horn. You're right. I'm picking Patrick Surtain here. The Chargers need a corner. They need a corner. And, obviously you have Christian Darrisaw here. You do need a tackle to protect your young Justin Herbert. But when you have a talent like Surtain that drops here, after the Cowboys pick J.C. Horn, I feel like that's just something you can't really pass up on at this point in the draft. And I think that there may be some tackles that may slide, especially with the trajectory of the draft. Maybe Vera Tucker slides down to the second round to you, or you can trade back in. So I think that they're going to pick Patrick Surtain. I don't think he can slide this much further, and that's what I'm going to go with for the Los Angeles Chargers.
I will say, I this is the first time I'm seeing someone take Patrick Surtain for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Like every mock draft I've seen, I've seen the Chargers taking a tackle here, and I do have them taking Christian Darrisaw because protecting Justin Herbert, who was lights out last year.
Ooh,
I mean,
he's good.
This guy, he was insane last year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, no one expected Justin Herbert to be as good as he was last year. I mean, who knows? Maybe a lot of people are saying maybe it was the Chargers system. If Tua went to the Chargers and maybe he would have blown up. You never know. But
maybe.
I do think the necessary need right now is tackle to protect Justin Herbert. But I do like the pick of Patrick Surtain to the Chargers. That is a huge need for them.
Yeah, I will explain myself because I was a bit inconsistent, obviously with the Penny Sewell, Jamar Chase decision. I don't really value receiver that much, okay? And I also am not super high on any of the tackles remaining in this draft. I think Penny Sewell is just a solid talent. He's going to be good, right?
Uh-huh.
The Chargers defense was absolutely horrendous. I mean, they were awful. I mean, they were Falcon level of defense in the clutch situations with Coach Anthony Lynn. So, the difference with the Bengals, you have Tyler Boyd and you have T. Higgins. They don't have a bad receiving core. They don't really need a receiver. I don't know why that's a thing. With the Chargers, corner is a huge need. I mean, it's one of their bigger needs. I think the Chargers are going to pick a tackle later in this draft. I think that there's talent there. I don't think the drop off of talent after Darrisaw is that much. So I think that picking a guy that is going to be good in Surtain, that's what I got.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the pick right now, and I'm looking at his stats. I'm like, now that I think about it more and more, I do like this pick for the Chargers. I do like it because you're right. Their defense was terrible last year.
Oh my God, it was horrendous.
Their defense was horrible. But with the 14th pick, we got the Minnesota Vikings.
Let's go.
I think this is pretty simple. I think Darrisaw is still on the board. You say you want to keep Kirk Cousins for a while. All right, you got to protect him. I don't know why you want Kirk Cousins, but it's fine. It's your guy, whatever. whatever. So
Who are they? Who else are they
at the
going to
most,
get? I don't know.
at the most, I feel like you got to protect him. So I think Christian Darrisaw. I think you just need a tackle here. Even if you went with Tevin Jenkins, I wouldn't be too against it. You just need a tackle, really. You just need a tackle. So,
Yeah.
Also, you just lost Riley Reef. Let's keep that in mind. So to the Bengals. So
yeah,
I do like this pick for the Vikings. It's a simple pick. Just get a tackle. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
There's not much left that's really standing
No.
out here that you need, that you can't pass up on. Get your need, fill your need. That's what you do at the middle of the draft in the first round here, and that's what they're doing. So I like the pick. Now, this may be interesting. The New England Patriots are on the clock. Cam Newton is now the quarterback again. Maybe Jarrett Stidham comes in and shakes it all up, but I doubt it. They made a lot of free agent signings. I mean, they signed 2 tight ends. They have a good linebacker core. They have everything that you may need in a defense right now. Obviously, Dante Hightower returns. They are fixing the receiving core with Nelson Aguilar, I guess. We'll see how that works out. Kendrick Bourne is here now. And I only see one hole, and that is quarterback. Cam Newton, I don't really think he has anything left in the tank. I don't really see it. There's no MVP Cam. Jarrett Stidham out of Auburn, he has had opportunities to show that he is developing, and I haven't seen it. And I don't think the Patriots have really seen it. So they might be trying to trade him. And, looking at the board, you have Micah Parsons, you have, you just picked Darrisaw. Morig is still here. So I think that this pick it comes down to one of 2 people. Okay. It comes down to Mac Jones and Rashaan Bateman. I think it does. That's what I have at this moment.
Rashad Bateman. Oh.
Yeah, he's up. He's flying up draft boards as well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you're right.
The Patriots, now knowing the Patriots, they'll probably, trade something and maybe trade this pick and get Bateman later on. But there is also the idea of picking a quarterback by the name of Mac Jones, the return of the Mac to New England, and I might have to go with that here. I might have to go with Mac Jones here. Mac Jones, the new quarterback of the New England Patriots. Similar play style to Brady. That's kind of
very
that's
similar.
What I'm going to go with. I think Mac Jones is going to be the next quarterback of the New England Patriots. And he's going to sit under Cam Newton this season. I don't think he's going to really play. I think they're going to let Cam Newton run that offense and let Mac Jones develop and have another year sitting behind a quarterback, and that's what they got. But Mac Jones out of Alabama, another Alabama player. They're having a great first round if you're an Alabama fan. So we are going to go with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, look, for a while, I did not really like this pick. Only because, well, first of all, I didn't think Belichick was too impressed with Mac Jones in his pro day. But like you said, there's not that many holes to fill. They filled a lot of these holes in free agency. Like, I originally had them taking Micah Parsons, but then I thought to myself, that doesn't really make much sense because a lot of the linebackers are coming back. And also, you just signed Matt Judon.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense.
Didn't Van Noy come back too? Or something?
And Van Noy's coming back. Yeah.
Whatever. They have linebackers. They're good.
I don't think it makes sense for them to take Micah Parsons now. So it's like, yeah, I mean, Mac Jones, maybe you can develop this guy. I mean, I've heard a lot of them liking Kellen Mond, like in the second and third round.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of rumors about that. But yeah, it's not exactly a pick that I would make if I was New England taking Mac Jones. But then again, they're probably going to do what they did last year and just trade back like a million times. Like they might end up doing that. But
you may see the Patriots and Giants make a trade though. Maybe they'll trade up and get somebody.
Yeah, I do like this. I do like the fact that they would trade back. Picking this, I feel like they gotta have to do it because there's no and also you signed Cam Newton to under 1 year, and even last year he wasn't the greatest. Like
no,
that was horrendous. That was horrendous to watch.
Yeah, it was not fun. It was not fun. Even the Patriots know that Cam Newton is not the long-term answer at quarterback.
Yeah. So with Arizona here at 16, there has been rumors going around within the last week or so that Arizona is interested in trading up to get a wide receiver.
Okay.
I don't know why you would do that. I honestly don't know why you would do that. Only because I feel like there are more needs than wide receiver on your team. You
And this is a
just
deep
lost,
class.
and this is deep cut. You could get a wide receiver
Yeah.
in the second round, definitely. So with Arizona here, I think to myself, I mean, a corner is a huge need. You just lost Patrick Peterson. Your best corner left is Byron Murphy, sorry. And you got a washed up Malcolm Butler now. It's like you don't really have too much to say about their corners. So I think they're going to end up taking Caleb Farley here, who his draft stock did drop a bit, but I feel like it was only because JC Horns went up so much that not a lot of people were talking about Farley anymore, because there was a point where people were saying Farley might be the best corner in this draft, and they had him going to the Cowboys at 10. Now he's dropping boards, and it's like some people have him going in the second round, which I don't believe. Like I think he's going to be in the first round. So yeah, I do think Arizona, you got to fill the corner need, man. You got to fill the need. You just lost Patrick Peterson, who, I mean, even when he was playing last year, he wasn't great. He was getting burnt a lot. But they didn't really do much in free agency to get corners except getting Malcolm Butler, who is not, anyone to brag about. So Caleb Farley here, I do think that would be the pick. I had them taking Patrick Surtain because I thought he was going to drop here.
Fair.
But
next best available right there.
Yeah. So Chargers taking him, I do like that. But yeah, Arizona, I feel like regardless, you're going to have to take a corner.
Yeah, you got to take a corner. I like the corner idea. I don't really think there's another bad pick for Arizona as long as they stay on defense here. That's what I think. I mean, that just makes the most sense to me. So I do like that. I think that's a good pick. I like Caleb Farley. He's gonna be a guy that's just solid. I don't think he's gonna be anything super special. I don't think he's gonna, shock a lot of people, but I think he's gonna be a good player and he'll be a solid guy to slot in there, especially with, Pat Pete, now Malcolm Butler. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders, they're weird.
The Raiders.
John Gruden Grinder. Now, where's the Gruden Grinder at this board? I don't know. That didn't sound like John Gruden, but we vibe. But that's how I think he sounds in my head right now. That's
not like that.
That's what he gives me. Frank Caliendo, shout out to him. But
the
Raiders just win, baby. They are not going to win much this season, I think. But anyway, who are they going to pick here at number 17? I mean, you took my guy that I think that they were going to get. I thought you were going to give them Micah Parsons maybe for the Cardinals, but you did not. Maybe. I don't know. It's a tough pick for the Raiders here, and I don't really know what to pick because this is another trade down situation. That's what I got. So do you go with the next best available corner? Do you take Moehrig maybe? I think Moehrig might be the idea. Carl Joseph, I mean, he didn't show up much when they drafted him back then, so take the guy out of TCU. Let's get Trevon Moehrig if you're the Las Vegas Raiders.
Moehrig.
Yeah, Trevon Moehrig. He's a solid player at TCU. He's caused a lot of problems in the Big 12 defensively. I like him. I think that is going to be the pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. It's going to be something in the secondary, I think. Maybe they need a tackle or a guard, something on the line, but I think that they have a current line that is sustainable. Their secondary, I mean, you watched the end of the Jets game. They almost lost that game. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah.
It wasn't for that Hail Mary to Henry Ruggs.
Yeah. I mean, that whole game, the Raiders are getting burned from the corner spot as well.
Yeah.
I think that they need something in the secondary, and Moehrig is probably the best secondary player available. So that is what I got, Moehrig. And this is the final pick of our draft, the Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins.
What a team. What do you got?
I think this is actually pretty simple here. I think it's pretty simple. I originally had them taking Jalen Phillips because he's from Miami. They needed an edge rusher. Miami Dolphins. It just made too much sense to me. But for the sake of this mock draft right now, I don't think they were ever expecting Micah Parsons to drop here. So I feel like if you're the Miami Dolphins, you have to pick Micah Parsons with this. I think you have to. Micah Parsons, I think, listen, you just lost Kyle Van Noy, who was a huge success to your defense last year. He was a huge leader. And I think a guy like Micah Parsons coming in, I wouldn't necessarily say you have to do much, if with that defense, because like I said, they're really, really good. And listen, I understand there's a lot of other needs that, like, they said the Dolphins might end up drafting Najee Harris or Travis Etienne, but I think you could wait till like the second round or possibly trade back up into a late first, because the only team that I think would, the only team I think that would take one of those two would be the Steelers at 24. So I think, I don't think it's a huge need if you're the Dolphins to draft a running back at this high, but I would have had them taking Jalen Phillips here, but no, I think if Micah Parsons drops to 18, there's no way Miami's going to let him pass them.
Yeah, I'd say so. I like Micah Parsons. I think he's going to be a great player. Miami definitely has that as a need, that linebacker spot, losing Van Noy back to the Patriots and whatnot. So they need him and he needs them, because if the Dolphins don't take him here, who will? He's sliding currently, and he's going to be a big story in this draft as he continues to slide. So if he gets picked by Miami here, he will be very thankful for it, and that's going to be a great play. But, I mean, even just putting him in that spot, in that linebacker spot, I mean, this defense is growing. They were great last season. I think they were a bit underrated, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I think they're going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL next season. As their corners develop, as their youth develops, after another season under the belt, I think, Flores has done a great job with this team. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL, I think. He's phenomenal, I will say. So this team adding another stud defensive player who is probably a top 5, top 10 talent in this draft. Yeah, this is a steal, an absolute
steal and a half
for Miami, and that's good. I mean, Miami's one of the more fun teams to watch in the NFL, and that's what we got. So that will conclude our NFL draft. In this, the first half of the non-playoff teams, good job. Here we go. But do you have any other thoughts on this draft? Was there anybody that you maybe would have liked to see get taken at this point? Is there something that stands out, or is this? Do you think this is pretty accurate? Are you gonna go to Vegas with this one?
I do like this. I do like this mock draft that we did. And also keep in mind, we're doing this on the fly here. I had no idea who you were going to pick. You had no idea who I was going to pick.
Right.
But I mean, looking back at some of these picks, like a lot of these picks are for scheme fits. They're scheme fits. They fit needs that a lot of teams, have been thriving for in free agency that they couldn't pick up. So I mean, a lot of these guys, I think, I feel like the only guy who I feel like would have been taken probably would have been Tevin Jenkins, only because the need for tackle is pretty high right now, and I feel like he would have been taken. But no, other than that, I feel like this is pretty solid. I like this mock draft.
Yeah, maybe Rashad Bateman gets taken or something, but maybe somebody, Elijah Moore. I like Kevin Toney.
Elijah Moore, you've been hearing a lot about him.
I've heard a lot about him. He's good, though.
Elijah Moore.
It should be good. It should be a good draft.
Yeah, it's a solid draft. I think it's pretty good.
It's a solid draft. The NFL draft is coming up. Who knows when Andrew releases this video for us? He's going to be editing this, so this is going to look a lot different than we see right now on our Zoom screen. So
hopefully,
maybe there'll be a cool thing above me. I doubt it, but you never know. It's going to be fun. This is a great NFL draft. Best time of the year, Joel. Thank you for coming.
Best time of the year.
On the Break has returned for, a quick little episode of the NFL draft, and it's glad to be back. I'm glad to be here with you. And it's always fun. It's always fun. Thank you all for watching. This has been On the Break. We're here. We're back for you. The blog is launching sooner than you might think. So thank you for watching again. We will see you all later. We are On the Break.
Later.